Welcome back. If you're just joining us, good afternoon to you. This is Press Club Live, and I am your host. My name is Chilufya Mwelwa. Today on the program, we're looking at women as agents of social change. We will be opening the phone line a little later to allow you to have a say on our program this afternoon. And I would love for the women really to call in and just interact with us on the show this afternoon. Quickly to introduce my guests, I have with me Chola Mutoni, who is well, she's got so many titles to her name, but I'd love to start with her being the 2014 Mandela Washington Fellow. She's a designer of educational material in local languages for young children. And very interesting, yesterday on Facebook, Chola, good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Very interesting, yesterday on Facebook, she put a picture of banana in Bemba, Chilimba, radio. It was very interesting. So we get to chat around that as well and what she's doing in the community to bring about social change. Also joining us is Caroline Lungu. And Caroline Lungu is coming from Assertive Girls Zambia. She's very passionate about girls and making sure that they're mentored. They know what they're worth in society. Caroline, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Also joining us, a young generation that is coming up, speaking about issues that are affecting them, but also looking at how young people can think outside the box and not be limited to getting a white-collar job, but have to think about being innovative. Isn't that right? Tabo Nsamba, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Tabo is from Njase Girls, and she's here with us in her uniform, looking pretty, and she's going to be able to chat to us really about what she's doing with her fellow pupils at school in making sure that youths know what they want in life and are innovative in the way they face life head on. Right, ladies, thank you so much for coming. Chola, I'll start with you. I was talking about the little Facebook pictures that you put on Facebook, translating different things into Bemba, which is very relevant at the moment, especially now that we have primary school children learning in Bemba. What for you was the motivation to get into this?
I think for me, it was just the fact that I saw a loss of Zambian indigenous knowledge, language being one of them. I have small kids, and the way that started was I was making the cards just for my children. And so I asked my grandmother in Chinsali to translate 104 images for me, things that my kids would ask me what this is. And so when I went to print, someone told me, why don't you go to Curriculum Development Center? And so I took them there, and they were verified and certified to be used in schools. And so they also encouraged me to translate them in Tonga, Lozi, Nyanja. And after that, I went to MTN and Daily Mail, and we partnered, and that's how we went to print. So I'm still doing it in all the other 7 local languages, but I was inspired by my own children. And also just the fact that I saw that Zambians don't preserve or document our own indigenous knowledge, and language is a huge thing, because if you can't speak it, you can't communicate, you're totally cut out.
Right. Right. I like that. Very interesting. By the way, Chola comes from a line of writers, from your grandfather to your auntie to yourself. Very interesting. For you, Tabo, really, I know you're doing something with Youth Alive, and you are a group of young people who are encouraging other young people to think innovatively. Tell me how you started all this.
Well, it's a group that's always been there, but it's been discouraged in most schools. Now, I thought of it because most of the times children are being misguided and others are not being guided. So we are trying to bring it back so that we can have an empowered youth, a trackable youth that's alive, just like the name.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. So how is it going so far? What kind of projects have you worked on?
Well, we are working on projects like bringing in mentors to talk to us as youth, even going to other schools to debate about things, and we're also bringing in people to teach us, because we have talents and we don't know how to use them. Like, we need people who are successful in life, who
to
have
be able
done
to
it.
guide you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of guiding and mentors and teaching, I know, Carol, that's what you're passionate about. You're able to go to schools as well and mentor these young girls, assertive girls. Tell us about that. How did it start for you? What was your motivation in getting into this?
The Assertive Girls Zambia A lot like Chola. It started with me one day in my living room. I was watching TV. I've got 3 kids. Now the youngest is a girl. And from there, you know, there's so much we hear on the news about girls being disadvantaged and so on. So on this fateful day, we're watching TV with my husband, and she's running around. She's just learned to walk, so she's all over the place. And on TV, Michelle Obama comes on. She's the captions of her in different schools addressing girls. They're having activities, sports. They're sitting down and being spoken to. And I thought about my little girl, and I'm thinking, do we have that around us, whereby she is being mentored on a continuous basis? Sometimes we as parents are so busy, we forget to speak up to our girls about certain things. The teachers are not going to talk about everything. They're going to hear from their friends. They're going to watch it on TV. They're going to go onto the internet and see all sorts of images and stuff. So I thought there needs to be a body, there needs to be an organization that just focuses on mentorship, guidance, counseling, motivation for girls. That's how the idea was born. And we have been to a few schools where we've spoken to girls, importance of education, what it means to be assertive, dress the way you want to be addressed, sexuality, puberty, and so on. We've had a very good response, and we feel that we should grow on that. So many schools need that. Would like to visit so many schools, would like to incorporate the parents, and well, the ideas are endless, but basically that's how it was born.
Right. I like you ladies because you're starting from your house, your family, your community. And that's how it should be. When we talk about women being agents of social change, it shouldn't just be, you know, looking at, yes, we want to see more women in decision-making positions. We want to see more women leaders. But we also want to see the mothers, the mothers, taking a stand and grabbing these issues by the horns and saying, I'm not going to sit back and watch my child get subjected to this kind of, you know, of situation. I want to do something about it. How much of that, in terms of women, how much of, you know, are we seeing women do that? Think outside the box and say, this problem is out there. I'm going to start with my kids and then spread it out and have other kids also benefit. Are we seeing more women coming out and doing that, Chola?
I think there are more women coming out. Obviously, it's a process. Before, we were just supposed to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
But I think more and more women are being heard. We can, if you go back like 5-10 years, there's a whole era of female MDs, more female ministers, and in in positions of decision making. I think it is. I think we're being empowered, and it's interesting to hear what the young lady from Njase is saying, to see that it's even going much lower than just our mothers, that even young girls are passionate about being heard and being seen, and that they've identified problems in our community. And the nice part, again, of what she's saying is they identify that they need to be mentored, which is something I think a new concept for us.
Yeah, mentorship.
Mentorship. Although it did happen anyway, our mothers mentored us. We just didn't have a label for it. But it's nice that there are platforms that are being created for girls to be mentored early, so that they grow up believing that they need to contribute. Yeah. To
contribute to society. Carol, your viewpoint in regards to that? More women coming out?
We have seen a change over the past, especially I think the last 5 years. We've seen a lot of women coming into powerful positions and speaking out. And we still have a long way to go. I feel we need to reach a point where it's no longer like, wow, there's a woman who's been
yes, it should
elected.
Be normal.
It shouldn't be wow. It should just be something that, oh, okay, that is good. And we should build on that. Every time I see, like, in the newspapers or on TV, a woman who has just been appointed into a power position, even myself, I'm like, oh, wow, that's really good. And I feel we should get to a point where it's no longer a wow thing. It should just be normal. It should just be there.
Yes. All right. What about for you, Tabo?
Well,
I know coming from, you know, a secondary school, you're starting.
yes.
So we are sort of like raising a generation of young women who know what they want already, who are going out there, growing up and becoming us, but more informed, more assertive, and more educated, more understanding of the culture and traditions. Yes?
Yes, like at our school, our main person that we look up to is our deputy headmistress.
Okay.
She was recently brought in, and you know she's brought in these new rules that we're adapting to. So we like the two here, like I would like like okay, like yeah, the two here, like they would mentor us, we would like to see successful women like them come to our school and, you know, mentor us so that we can grow up into youth that's, you know,
Well informed.
wonderful. Yeah.
Very, very confident.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your view then of women participation in the various issues, in the various spheres in this country? Politics, civil society, business. Are we seeing many women also getting involved, or do we see a situation where women are like it was in the past? You're supposed to be in the kitchen. You're not supposed to be heard. You know, I know now there's all this, you know, whole sort of wave of women's rights. And women are like, I have the right to do this, I have the right to do that, I have, you know, whatnot and whatnot. But are we seeing more coming out, even just at community level, church level, you know, religious, you know, positions where women also take the lead?
I think it is, like I said before, it is a process and it will take time for us to be the loudest voice. But I think women
or
are...
at least at par, not really the loudest, at par with the men.
Yeah, but you know what? Everybody's gifted in their own way. So you can only make as much noise in your area of gifting or in your area of education. So it's not just a matter of being seen and heard, but I think you need to be well informed about what you're about to make noise about. So it's important, yes, for women to make noise about certain issues or to be seen doing certain things, but are they ready? Are they qualified? We can cry for more women in government, we can cry for more women MDs or in different areas, but are we
ready?
Are we ready?
That's a good question. Are we ready? Are we ready, Carol? Yes and no?
There's yes and no. Like they've just, Chola and Tabo have just said, especially like what Tabo is saying, they feel they need to be mentored. They need to have people that can come in and show them the way, guidance. We need to look at, like the Assertive Girls Zambia, we're looking at girls from an early age. We all know it's very hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So we have to start with the young ones. Like the motivational talks we have, at the moment we start from grade 4. So it's the young minds that we need to build. By the time they're in college, they have a new outlook on life. So we need to actually start from there and not just start from the top. That's how I feel.
That's what you feel.
That's what
Tabo, for you, give us a personal account of people who you've looked up to and who've mentored you, for you to think the way you're thinking now.
Yes. The person who has really mentored me, it's our matron, the matron for this same club, Mrs. Kana. She's mentored us like, as for me, I can write, but I didn't see the whole point of writing. And she would mentor us, you know, she would mentor us like, no, you can do this, you can do that, making our work, you know, like known to us, like
you can do it.
Yeah, we can do it, encouraging us. Yes, including the support from maybe mom, yes, and even the deputy head teacher who accepted this same club to enter into school.
I'll bring back the issue that you brought on, Chola. You said we're mentored by our aunts, grandmas, mothers, and we don't look at them as mentors because we want to have this person who looks like Chola come to me and say, you can do it. And yet when I was bored, you know, my mother took care of me and taught me how to walk, how to use a spoon. That's mentoring. They taught me how to be able to talk, how to write, how to comb my hair, and that is all mentoring. But we sort of like put them in the back. They're backbenchers, and we want to see mentors that look like, you know, first lady, minister of this and minister of that. How can we incorporate our culture and tradition, even as we want to be women who are have a voice and are being heard? How do we, you know, bridge culture and tradition into this whole aspect? Because we can't run away from it. We're African, we're Zambian, and we're traditional. Your views?
You see, when I started, I talked about the loss of indigenous knowledge.
Yes.
And when I realized, because I'd been out of Zambia for a while, and when I came back, I was thinking, okay, I need to get in touch with who I am. What does it mean to be Zambian?
Yeah.
And then I realized a lot of people my age also didn't know. So what I decided to do was start organizing events around just understanding like the music that they sing when a girl becomes of age.
Yeah.
And so we'd have events where they sing those songs and they explain them to us. So another thing that I noticed then was language was a barrier, because some of the Bemba or Nsenga or Lozi or Tonga they sang, the other women who claimed to be from those tribes also didn't understand. So they became very interesting platforms, just talking about the knowledge that our grandmothers wanted to pass on to us, that our mothers wanted to pass on to us. And so I think culture is very important. And being Zambian, we're a Christian nation, first of all, and the culture also comes in, and also the modern things that are coming to Zambia. So I think
you sort of need to balance.
You need to have a very good balance. That's why mentorship is also very important. If you have a mentor from all three, and also having a very strong identity of not getting confused, but accepting all those three and making them work for you. This now pushed, I think, from 2012, pushed me to start writing a book on the rites of passage for modern Zambian girls, which I'm still working on because the dynamics keep changing. But the three angles for me still are Christianity, is being modern, and it's the culture. Yeah, and the cultures even within those that keep evolving. So it gets a bit hard, but it's interesting to keep studying how culture influences girls, how the modern things they're seeing on TV and social media, and also how church influences them.
Right. Tabo, for you, what do you think? When you're at school, you're able to do math, science, and do everything else. When you get home, put on your chitenge, get in the kitchen, you know, do this and that, just stay home. And how do you see that as a young girl who's growing up in a modern Zambia?
Well, we do need mentorship from all sides, yes. Like, I also say it's important when we go home, you know, we wear chitenges, talk to our parents in local languages, you know. It's also good for us because even at school, they've started this thing about local languages, learning local languages like Tonga, yes, Bemba. Yes, well, other people don't see why we should learn such and stuff like that. But, you know, it encourages us. Even as we grow up, we know our identity. Like, we know this is where we're coming from.
Yes.
Yes, this is where our forefathers and stuff, where we are coming from. Yes, that's why I also see, like, it's very nice that even in churches, they are translating in local languages so that we know where we're coming from.
All right.
Yes.
I like the issue of identity she's brought in. Our grandmothers and aunties give us the identity of where it is we're coming from, because then I remember not so long ago, 1980, you know, something. We had, you know, storytelling time, and Bambuya would say it in Bemba. Tushimi, you know, she would tell you stories of what's happening, what happened in this society, and those stories had meanings. And at the end of it all, there was a triumph story. And then, so they were telling us that, you know, you go through certain phases in your life, you succeed, you do this and this, but at the end of it all, be respectful, you know, they would teach you all those things, values in those stories. I don't know if we're seeing that in our today mentors, our mentors today. Carol, you're mentoring girls. What is it that you bring out when you're speaking to them, other than, of course, dress the way you want to be addressed?
We speak to them about respect. We speak to them about how you need to respect your parents, how you need to respect your teachers.
Yes.
The types of relationships you should maintain with your peers. your girlfriends, your fellow girls, how you need to behave towards the boys, how you want, and it also all goes back to you'll be treated the way you treat other people as well.
Yeah.
And we try to get people, a lot of different people. Like personally, I'm not I haven't been trained in any kind of mentorship. So we identify those that we know to be known mentors.
Yeah.
They've been in it for a long time, and they have the experience. They know exactly how to get the point across. So we get people like that on board. And we're still discovering many more people who we can, especially women, we would like to get more and more of them on board to come in with programs. We want to design programs where we'll have some camping trips with a certain number of girls. Somewhere in the bush, somewhere we have some fun. We teach them traditional dancing, you know, trying to keep in the traditional and the modern. As much as you need your education, you need to be assertive and all of that. You need to maintain your culture. You need to maintain that respect as an African girl, and grow into a respected African woman. Do not lose your culture. That is something that we want to really encompass in our talks as well.
All right. Very interesting chat we're having here on Press Club Live today. So if you want to be part of the program, you can call us on 261901. We'll get that phone, and you can call through with your contribution question, or just comment on our theme topic today, women as agents of social change. Please call us, especially the women. Please, would love to hear from you. I'll bring back the discussion to identity. How important is identity and what you give back to society? How important is knowing yourself and who you are and what your values are, what you believe in? How important is that, Chola?
I think for young girls, it's important to mentor them in a way that they see themselves as a brand.
Okay.
And a brand is a very powerful thing. I mean, if you're going to sell anything, and whether it's a Coca-Cola or it's a hair product, the brand signifies something and it stands for something. And I believe all of us were put on this planet with some seed in us, some passion, some excitement. For me, I'll talk about what I think my brand is. I'm very passionate about, obviously, preserving and documenting who we are as Zambians. And last year, like you said, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I went because I applied saying I want to build a cultural village where we'll have lots of youth documenting and preserving who we are. But what they helped us do is turn our passion into a business and turn us into brands. And so when you come back, you have this identity. And obviously, America is something a lot of youth look up to and are excited about. And one thing I noticed, I think just from paying attention, is they're very, very brand conscious. But also I use an example of just like a flag, which is a symbol, you know. And you know when Americans sing the national anthem, how they respect the flag and the excitement. And I started thinking of back home, when we sing the national anthem, when we look at our flag, what does that mean? Is that a brand for us? Is it what excitement does that bring out? And what's my identity? Why am I not attached to anything that symbolizes what being Zambian is? So I think that's what drives me and pushes me. I think my finding out my identity, which I don't think I've actually done yet. But I'm Zambian.
Work in progress.
It's work in progress. But for a young girl, they need to be told, you're a brand, you're respectable, you're a vessel, you're an important person. So all these things, I think should be stood
before you ladies come in, we have a caller. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
All right, call us back. 251901 is the number you're dialing, and you get through to the program. And when you do, please reduce the volume on your TV because you cannot hear yourself and speak to us. It's quite difficult. So just reduce the volume so that we can be able to converse clearly. Tabo, for you, in terms of identity, you're a young girl, you're just discovering yourself.
Yes.
And most young people would say, she's just doing this because she's at school. When she finishes school, she goes to college, she'll change another identity. You know what I mean? So what drives you in terms of just understanding who you are. Who is Tabo? What does she want to achieve in life? What is this Youth Alive campaign that she's all about?
Yes. Our careers, we have to like align our identity with what we want to be in life. You know, we cannot be good parents and good professionals of the future if we do not know ourselves, our culture, and where we're coming from. Yes. So we need like to know who we are and what we really want to become. Like, as for me, I'm just trying to like know who I really am, and at least I have a career that I want to do. I want to do law, and I would like to see mentors like tell me more about law. That I would look forward to that time, like when I would go to Ziale and
and be able to get to the bar.
Yes.
Okay. For you, Carol, identity. What does it mean to you? Is this why we're seeing not so many women being taken serious, because we don't know who we are as Zambian women?
As Zambian women, as African women, let me speak about Zambian, because we're in Zambia. We get a lot of mixed messages. We're still coming from an era which you're expected to just become a mother, a wife, and be content with that. And we have to go through a process of change. We have to know where we're coming from for us to know where we're going. So you need to know yourself to see exactly where can I fit in to develop myself. So it's also a huge issue of knowing yourself and aligning yourself with the type of person that you are and where you're coming from, your background. Yeah.
All right. We have another call on the line. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Roxanne. And so I just want to encourage the ladies that they're doing a very good job. And we're proud of them for representing us ladies out there. They should continue. And the youth, I guess this is your time to shine. So get the advice and the motivation and work hard. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment on the program. Very nice, ladies. You're inspiring people out there. Right. So I think identity is a very big issue. I remember we had a chat around this issue. Many times people say, well, black women, African women don't know who they are. That's why they want to fit into this box to look something else that society deems perfect. But knowing who you are is able, like you said, to align you to a certain path, because you know that Chilufya is passionate about, this and this issue. I align myself to that particular issue. Can you only be able to be an agent of social change when you're in a position of decision making? Or can you be able to bring about social change in your own humble way, in your own way as a teacher, as a nurse, as a media person, as a mother to your